So after disassembling the transfer case for project 67 CJ5, I realized I need a parts washer.
Alright, here it is. 20-gallon Harbor Freight Central Machinery parts washer.
Certainly very well packaged. Most of the hardware and other parts are inside the cabinet itself, which makes sense. The first thing I noticed when I opened it up was that the pump is really nothing more than a submersible fountain pump.
So I've searched high and low on this thing. All the labeling, the instruction manual, stickers, decals on the box and on the washer itself. I don't think this is a listed appliance, which is interesting. It means it's never been tested by Underwriter's lab or another lab for safety and function as an assembly. And it has this fire link here, and I recognize this link as either the same as or very similar to the commercial fire links that go in Ansel hood systems. That's a generic brand term for automatic discharge fire suppression systems that you would see installed in a commercial restaurant kitchen inside the hood, and these links are what let go in the event of fire. The low temp solder releases, and these two halves separate like a normal fire link. This little trap door is pivoted here and would flip up backwards, allowing this spring in here to let go and probably come shooting out the top, and
cool.
The rod would just plunger would just come down and really close. Okay, so before I set fire to my new parts washer, I want to put the legs on. And before I put the legs on, I want to drill a hole in one of them where my remote oil filter is going to go.
Right away on the first leg, I noticed the bolt hole alignment was not great. And by the end, I was using a drift and a tapered punch to try to get the last two bolts in through the holes in every single one of them. Another hack I've seen on other YouTube videos about this is to put the lower parts tray all the way at the bottom to make room for 5-gallon buckets. I elected to put it in the middle because I think the legs need this extra support.
Make sure all 4 legs are touching the ground or your flat surface evenly, and then go through and tighten it. I do this in the backyard, I guess. I was going to do it out front, but it's a nice, good weather Saturday, nice and cool out, so there's too much activity. Garage sale up the street, neighbors leaf blowing and wood cutting and doing all those things. So I picked this area on this brick landing, wetted everything down. I got a 2A10 BC and a 5-pounder. You don't spray or put water on a fuel oil fire or electrical fire, a type B or type C hazard respectively. but I have the hose ready for wetting things down, and also in the unlikely event that some combustible, like the deck or the swing set or something, were to catch fire with this little experiment. So I'm going to fill this with 2-cycle that I have left over, some old stuff, so it's got a little oil in it, and we'll see if she works. That's right. I feel like that link should have gone already. 165. Well, it worked. I feel like that link should have gone already. 165. Well, it worked. How about that? Yeah, it's gone down considerably. I think it's probably safe to open it. Ooh, it smells. I want it to read. There we are. And there's the 2 pieces of the link. One's in the pan and the other one's over there. It worked exactly like it's supposed to. It's not going to lock open now. I don't know why I keep trying to lock it open. It's donezo. So I got the lid propped open as I'm examining this. And it didn't even burn long enough to blister the paint. I mean, we could hear the sheet metal buckling, but this is just gauge metal. Like, I don't, other than the link letting go, it just got soot everywhere, and that's about it. So I'm going to clean it up and put it back together. Okay, the best, safest way to reset this thing, should you ever have to do it, is grab the plunger upright, push it down, and push the pin through, like so. And there we are. Link installed, plunger set, it is done. Now test the function. Seems to work fine, and why wouldn't it? So the first thing I'm going to do, I saw this on another YouTube video, it seemed like a really great idea, was to put it atop of a 4-wheel dolly, which is, the layout is perfect for the footprint of this, the legs of this thing, and just screw some blocks in over the flat flanged part of the leg to hold it down onto the dolly. And then once it's full of cleaning solvent, it'll be much easier to move around. This dolly, these Harbor Freight dollies, say 1,000 pound capacity, which the thought of putting 1,000 pounds on this dolly and successfully rolling it around even on a flat garage floor is laughable. I don't know who came up with that capacity for these, but these wheels and these slewing swivels will not handle even half of that successfully. They won't. They start to lock up and not swivel and turn, and then you can't get all 4 wheels pointed in the right direction. when you overload these. And when I say overload, I mean half of the capacity that's listed on there. No way you're putting 1,000 pounds on this dolly, but enough about that. It'll work for this, so that's what I'm going to do. The reason for doing this hack, the external filter is a good idea, but also this pump housing thing here, the internal threads on this are plastic, so that means I think they're straight. I don't even think they're tapered, because this spray nozzle DOLLY they give you with the kit has an O-ring on it, and these are definitely straight. So if you were to screw this in here and do it per the instructions, that means when you're bending this around and maneuvering it and putting pressure on it and leveraging it, all that is going to be applied on this fitting and these plastic threads, which I think would be a point of failure. I don't think that would hold up very well. So that's another reason to do this filter hack, is now I'm going to have this banjo fitting screwed directly into the side of the unit. So this will be screwed directly into the side of the unit, and then this will kind of form a bulkhead, if you will, and then this will screw into this and be a lot more rigid into the side of this when you're maneuvering it around. I think the brass union is less likely to break off. Teflon tape is not rated for fuel or solvent. I think it'll probably eat this up. The pipe dope that I have, the two different kinds of Rector seal, aren't rated for fuels either. This is not tapered, I don't think, and it's plastic. I don't even think it's the right thread. I'm only going to screw it in there once, and this part's submerged, I'm pretty sure anyway. It's not going to matter if it leaks a tiny bit. Obviously we want as much pressure as we can get. So putting this together, you're just going to thread that into the knurled part of the threads, and that's what's going to hold it in there when you replace the filter so it doesn't come out. I'm going to put a little Loctite on it. So this thing and the cord including is supposed to slide through this opening and then lock down here. As far as it'll get. There. It is really tight on this sheet metal opening, so that's So one hack that I thought was kind of cool, I saw in a different YouTube video, was take this and they zip tie through these holes a Scotch-Brite pad over this opening for like redundant double filtration, which I thought was a good idea. I don't have any Scotch-Brite, so I'm going to put it together like this because I'm kind of anxious to try it out. This glass one. This thing says highest level right there, and we're just about there, so got to fill that filter up. And there she goes. And my fitting right here is dripping. I'm going to take that apart, fix that. Yeah, no drips, no leaks. Let's turn this nice clean solvent into dirty solvent. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this a success and move on.